The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki. Hello, here I am. Welcome to the podcast, Nikki Glaser Podcast. My mic is turned up loud, so I'm going to talk rather softly because I don't feel like walking across the room, crawling across the room and turning it down to where it is.
It actually sounds great to me.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad. It just sounds like maybe it's turned up in my headphones. That's probably it. I'm shoeless today. I just didn't feel like putting on shoes. And I thought maybe some people would be driven to our YouTube page if there's enough feet people out there. It could affect the numbers. Our numbers are low on YouTube. And if that becomes the I don't want my feet like on a clip on Instagram. I don't want anyone to think I'm angling for that. But if the feet freaks are listening and they want to see my feet, you got to go to YouTube, and that's going to be the place for it.
Brian has one kid out today, so if any of you are interested in that.
Brian's shirtless.
Yep. That's right.
I'm shoeless.
My elbows are out.
Yeah, and Anya's not wearing underwear. That's where it's just the idea of it. And if you want to hear her,
I just feel super sexy that way.
Oh my God, it just feels so free. I just love the feeling of my linen jumper, like just on my labia. I'm sure that turns someone on out there a lot.
There's nothing that I could say that would be sexy. I don't think I'm pop capable.
No, there is not.
Yes, there
you see what I did with that?
Let's think of it.
Yeah, there could be something hot. I don't want you to say anything hot. I don't want to be turned on ever by you, Brian. And I don't want you to ever be turned on by me. It's a great kind of relationship to have, a friendship where you're just like, there's never been any of that, and there'll be none of that. And
yes.
And it's almost like brother, where you can't, because I'm comfortable being sexual around my parents and stuff, because it's so off limits that it's like, it's not weird to me. Like me talking about my sex life, it's just like, because they're so not someone I ever have sex with, it feels like okay to talk about it more freely. Like I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone, but anyway, I'm
my
shoeless
favorite
today.
part of your act, I can't remember if this got cut out of Good Clean Filth or not. But
please tell me anything you think got cut out, because I don't remember and I need to put it I would like to use it for my next one. I don't need it, but I would like to.
Was this in the special where you're like, okay, imagine you had to make out with, or you had to have sex with one of your parents.
Oh yeah, that's definitely in it. That's
but
in
then
the
you said the line.
Minutes.
You said the line live where you're like, "I'm so sorry, but we have to do this."
Oh yeah, like would you rather go down on your mom or your dad if you had to? And you like, and everyone has to think about it. And it's kind of like, I realize most of my act is trying to prove to people that they can't help their thoughts and that they're all fucking weirdos too, and that there is no free will and your thoughts just show up. And I think that was a kind of a challenge to get them to I'm like, I know you're thinking about it right now, and let me just solve it for you real quick. You got to go down on your mom, because you would, you just, and then you got to tune into my special to find out why you should. But it's, it's perfect logic why you would. We have a lot to cover on the show today, so I just want to full steam ahead. I just want to say the topics I want to cover, and I want to get to them if we can. Brian's wedding, I have a couple of things that happened that we didn't talk. I mean, there's tons of stuff you didn't get to, I'm sure, Brian. So just some loose ends on that. And then I would talk about Taylor Swift and Noah and I in Minneapolis on Friday night, this past Friday, which was an amazing trip in time. And then I want to talk about my show with my dad that I did on Saturday night at Yamava Casino.
Oh,
Yamava.
Oh, Yamava.
That's it.
I drove past a lot of Yamava signs this past week, and I was like, how do you say that?
Did you see my face on a billboard? That would have been so cool. Because I was there. I'm sure it flashed by. I mean, I was a hot ticket this weekend, I gotta say. They gave me a plaque. Not a plaque, but a glass trophy. For nothing. It's not like I sold out or anything. I was very close to selling out, but it was like just a present. And then they made cookies of each of my eras. So like every...
those
so cool.
Weren't they cool?
So cool.
So nice. And they were so nice to my dad and me. And my dad and I sang and stuff. And I came up with a joke that is going to work for any casino. Let me see if I can remember it, because the wording's kind of difficult to memorize. Yamava I found out is... what is the tribe that was out there? I fucked it up in the showroom. Hold on. The tribe is...
Shumash?
No, it's a Serrano. Serrano? Is that a type of pepper?
That's the CEO of Netflix.
Oh, yeah, and Ted Sarandos.
Yes.
Susan Sarandon. No, a Serrano pepper. It's the same tribe as that. Okay, anyway. Yamava is Serrano for prosperity and growth at the expense of you spending your child support check at the blackjack table or something like that. Like I have to memorize. When I say it fast, it sounds cool, but I was like, it's a short word for like a long meaning, something that means a lot to them. So that was fun. And then, and that's about, but let's start with Brian's wedding. I just wanted some loose ends or just some things I jotted in my phone while I was there. There's signs for fallen rocks everywhere, when you're driving up there. What am I supposed to do with that sign? How does that help me?
Or falling?
Fallen. That's a good. It's written in fallen. Oh, so maybe I can do something with that because they're lying in the road and it wants me to watch out for the fallen rocks. Falling rocks? I can't do a damn thing about that.
Have you ever seen one when you're driving?
No.
Only one time in my life I was driving. It was a big storm. It was coming down Big Bear, whatever that mountain is. And it was a big storm. We shouldn't have drove down the mountain. And it was like every 5 minutes, a rock would come tumbling down.
Like
and
a big one? Big enough to crash through your window and like go through your head?
The size of a softball or football. Yeah,
yes.
Bad rocks. We're like, what the hell are we doing driving down this road right now? We had to get out because there was a gas leak in our Airbnb and we couldn't stay there either.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I lived in New York City once. This is why I don't like the outdoors. Air conditioners just fall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All down 22nd Street.
You've seen them fall before?
I've seen fallen AC units, and there are signs that just say fallen.
In New York City, you know why there's so many scaffolding? It's because the buildings are so old that they have to put scaffolding because pieces of the building fall off.
That's not just New York City. That's every city with tall buildings that have scaffolding. When they have to inspect them every 5 years, and until they get the inspection done, they have to have the scaffolding up. And it's because a piece of a building fell on an NYU student back in the 70s and killed her.
There's a whole episode of that HBO show about it. How to with what's his name?
John Wilson.
John Wilson. Yeah,
that's so good.
That's a fairly fascinating episode. It's kind of like Adam Ruins Everything, but with a guy who's kind of like a little bit different, leading you through. You know?
Yes.
It's like, but it's so good.
It'll make you cry. Every episode you cry at least once.
Oh yeah, it's touching. They just like film trash kind of blowing around, and he'll just comment on New York City. It kind of is American Pot or American Beauty, that guy like filmmaker kind of. But I wanted to say, one day we were at Sirius, Noah, doing our show, and a piece of scaffolding right down the street where we had all walked under hit a guy and killed him.
Oh, remember that? I remember that. Yes.
And it like happened while we were at work, and we were all like, we could hear the sirens. We were like right by it, and it was like, oh my God, I walked that same thing. It just happened. That's always so, but you know what? Not the worst death. If we're talking about deaths getting hit, it sounds awful and it's embarrassing. And if you are alive for any of it, it's horrible. But if you get conked in the head that fast, you are out and you are dead. And it's you never knew it was coming. You know,
conked is such a funny word.
Like the submarine guys.
How did your uncle die,
dude?
Conked.
Yeah. I just want to say about the submarine thing. People are all like, that's so it's fucking tragic for sure, but it literally is the best way to die. Because they what your brain sees, and then once your brain goes, oh, I know what I'm seeing, it takes like 0.13 seconds to get to from your eyes to your brain to be like, that's what I'm seeing. Everything's delayed that much, pretty much. And then feeling wise, it's some other fraction of a second where something hurts, and then your brain processes it as hurt. So for a while you get hurt and you don't feel it, right? And both of those are slower than the submarine impact based on the compression. So they never saw it, felt it, knew it was coming, had any moment of, oh shit, there was nothing. Literally the last things they were like, hey, could you pass me that? It was like that. Like there was some mundane conversation. Like, I wonder what the conversation was that was happening.
Words?
Of just like, have you guys watched Monk? Like, it was something like, oh, he's trying to, like, there was some, or like, hey, is the bathroom over? It was like something like that. Like, just, that's how like quickly you can go in that moment. And now they're all goo. Like the amount of pressure is like the same solar, like power as the sun. So it melted them all to goo instantly. Mm-hmm. And then there's conflicting reports of whether this kid was like, I don't want to go, or he like really wanted to go, because his mom said he really wanted to go. And everyone else before that was like, the dad made him go. He was only going for his dad, but he wanted to solve a world record of solving a Rubik's Cube at the lowest what is it called?
Depth.
Yep. Thank you.
Pressure. Yeah.
So he brought his Rubik's Cube down there and he had a goal. So I'm like, was he really drug into this thing? Like, I think we invent these narratives to sell a like more, or, you know, the press does, to sell a more interesting story of like this 19-year-old, like everyone's referring to him as a kid, which like, that's fine. He is, but he's not. That's an adult age. So everyone's like, my dad goes, this poor kid. And I'm like, he was 19. He wanted to solve a Rubik's Cube down there. Like, I'm not blaming anyone, but like, don't make this about like, if it was a 6-year-old kid, you could say kid and like, oh my God, the parents made him. But,
he had some agency.
A little bit. And it's like, no one deserved he didn't deserve to die less than the other people really, except like the guy that was in charge of it. I mean, that was fucking ridiculous. But he had a death wish. But wouldn't you go in a submarine if you were doing something a little bit dangerous and the guy who like his life, he's going in there with you and he made it and he knows all the dangers. If he was going, wouldn't you go? But I learned you shouldn't go because people don't give a fuck about dying. They're not scared of it.
Yeah.
There's some people like my boyfriend.
Heard the news, I talked to Allie about this and I was like, we're never going to any billionaires, anything for any reason.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I will. I'm friends with a billionaire, so I'll keep going to their Hamptons house. I don't have to sign 7 pages of like, I might die, I'm going to die documents to go there. But
yeah, nothing risky. I'm not going in a rocket. I'm not going to another planet.
No.
I don't want to skydive with a
my
billionaire or
boyfriend
otherwise.
would, and I'm struggling with it. He would go in Ocean Gate right now if they were still doing tours. He really would.
Did you hear the thing that
That's what he said.
While they were looking for the dead people in the submarine, they posted a job posting for a submarine operator.
You gotta be kidding me. This just is like so funny.
It's
a comedy of errors.
There was a whole backlash, obviously. Like, how could you do this? But they took it down. But yeah, they were like, oh, it looks like we have an open spot now for someone who's really good with submarines and wants to have a life of adventure.
That is so I went to the website and it was like still operating and up. Like Ocean, it was still like, hey, you could charter this thing. And then like you could buy the thing on there. And then when you went to buy it, it was like file 404 not found. But but what was I going to say about people are what this did more than anything was start to have. We're having conversations about how much we hate billionaires because no one felt any empathy or sympathy. And so it was really, I've read a lot of pieces about how, or I've read a lot of headlines of pieces. And then I read maybe one of them about how we have no compassion for billionaires because we hate them because we kind of should.
Weren't there, I don't know enough about this story, but weren't there like stories saying that no one had tried this out and it was a sort of
there was a whistleblower. There was a whistleblower who said 2 years ago, in 2018, he said, this is not going to work. This is going to implode. He said exactly what was going to happen. And then they fired him and then they sued him for saying those things.
Wow.
Yeah. No, this is all
where's
bullshit.
That guy?
Now if you're listening, sir, you might be entitled to some compensation.
Well, he is on season 3 of Monk right now, so he made it.
Did you see the guy Mr. Beast? I guess he's like a YouTuber, and he posted that he got asked to go on the Ocean Gate. Did you see that?
No, he didn't.
But the text he shared, the screenshot of like the little blurb asking him to go was in blue, which means it was his phone. You know what I mean? Like he tried to like maybe fake a message that he was invited on and send it to himself and then screenshotted it and didn't show like the context. So, but now everyone's like, dude, it's not blue unless it's your phone, the bubble. So he's kind of busted. But there's stories coming out of like, I wanted to do this mission, which I always love. I love those where someone was like, I was supposed to be on the plane that flew into the World Trade. Like I don't mind those stories. Even though I'm sure some of them, like people are just trying to find some kind of connection to it. Another thing I wanted to bring up before we go to break about Brian's wedding. When we were there, I just want to this is like a Grace's AirPods incident that happened to me. But we were at the cute little shop, like town shops in what is it called? Grand Lake, Colorado.
Yes.
And there is a nice fudge shop or whatever.
Oh yeah, great fudge.
So they're selling fudge in there. And then there next door to it, I think, is the shop where it has rubber duckies as different celebrities.
Yes, famous rubber ducky shop.
It's called Quackers, yeah. And so it's just different rubber duckies that are like, dressed up as different celebrities. But they definitely didn't have a Taylor Swift or any Beatles. So I do think that they are trying to get away with something because they know who's litigious. And so you can't find like a baseball one. Like there's every sport, but like
they have Rob Thomas.
Oh my God. Quacks 20. They would have some, everything has like a pun about quacking and like something.
Alice Quacker. Instead of Alice Cooper.
Yeah, it would be that. It would be bad like that.
Or
not that I can think of anything better.
Bill
literally,
Clinton.
The think tank on these quack names is terrible. It's literally was like one guy, first thing he thought of. And, but anyway, so Tim, Chris's brother, was in there buying gifts for people, and he's looking for a baseball quacker, which they have thousands of these ducks everywhere. And he's like, there's got to be a baseball one. There's one for like lacrosse. There's one for like, cricket. There's got to be a baseball one. He could not find one. So I'm waiting outside the store, and I see on one of the bubblegum machines outside, on top of it is a box of Fudge, brand new box of Fudge.
Oh,
and I looked
this,
inside and I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, it's brand new. It was totally untouched on the top, and everything had the perfect little tissue paper around, like the beautiful packaging. And I waited and I looked around, and then I was like, no one's coming back for this. If they do, it's going to be too late, and this is going to get thrown away. I know no one else eats other people's stuff like me, unless someone like Taylor comes along. It's do it.
Inside the store?
No, it's outside the store.
Okay.
There's no one around. Like you could tell, like they put it there. They got some change out of their pocket for their kid to get a toy out of the bubblegum machine or whatever. And then they just left their Fudge. Like I do all the time. I leave my Fudge everywhere. Like if I had Fudge to carry around, it would get left. It's like takeout,
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Every day leaving Fudge.
Well, it's hard to finish your Fudge. That's a very commonly left back food.
I was watching something with the band Boy Genius, who I'm obsessed with right now, and the girl, one of the girls in it said that anything smaller than her hand, she will lose. And I just loved that because I relate to it so much. Like anything smaller than my hand, do not give me, I will misplace. And this Fudge box kind of fit into that category. So I was like, I'm going to take this Fudge because my family loves Fudge. I'll maybe bring it to like the after party bust outs. And Chris and Tim and Emma was cool with it. But everyone else seemed to be a little bit aghast at that I would take this Fudge and not leave it. But if you leave it, sure, they might come back for it. They're not coming back for it. And if they do, okay, well, sorry, it's going to good use. It's not getting thrown away. The alternative in most likely scenario of this is that the Fudge would get thrown out because someone would go, I'm not taking someone else's Fudge. And then some guy cleaning up later. Like someone had to take it, and it's me.
So what did you do with the Fudge?
I gave it to my dad. I gave it to my parents. Yeah, I took it home. I was going to bust it out, but I forgot. It was in my cabin, and we were dancing the night away.
Did you tell them that you bought it? Or
did I tell
them the story?
No, I didn't. No, I told them the story and they were proud.
Yeah, I think that's the proper way to handle that situation. I don't think they were going to come back for the Fudge. They were probably gone.
But Chris kept making jokes about everything, like anything that was laying out. He was like, I guess I'll just take this dog bowl because, someone just left it. And I was like, that's not the same. And I know you're joking, but are you? Because you're kind of judging me. What about an ancillary note?
On an ancillary note, I can't believe you've brought up Fudge today so many times because on the girls' chat, Hala asked us all today, if you found out you had a food allergy to something most people love, but you wouldn't care too much about giving it up, what would it be? And I thought long and hard about it, and then I definitively wrote Fudge.
Do people love Fudge? Are they talking about Fudge all the time around you?
Probably not. I made myself laugh so hard.
Okay, we have to go to break. I want everyone to think about the food that if you were allergic to and had to give up because you would die if you ate it, but it's a food that like everyone generally loves, it wouldn't be that hard for you to give up. What would that be? We'll have Brian and Noah's answers in mind when we get back. But for Anya, it's Fudge.
I was walking down the street cracking myself up.
Okay, we're back. So Fudge is your answer of things that you associate most people would be like, I can't live my life without Fudge. How am I going to do this, Johnny?
Yeah.
That's the one you chose.
It's more like I thought of like, what do I not like that other people like? And I'm like, I fucking
you don't like Fudge. You hate Fudge.
I
well, that's not really a sacrifice.
Fudge.
What about something that you would like that you are...
Do you like brownies?
If you found out you had a food allergy to something most people love, but you wouldn't care too much about giving it up, what would it be?
Well, yeah, that's
I'm
the
just
question.
Like, take it or leave it with fudge.
Okay.
But why do you hate fudge? Do you like brownies or are those too rich?
Oh, I love brownies. What is the thing that's
aren't
like? I think it's fudge.
Aren't brownies fudgy? Brownies are fudgy. That's a verb that or an adjective that's used to describe brownies.
It's only used for brownies.
Fudge,
are you thinking of saltwater taffy?
I hate saltwater taffy too.
Okay,
but
we're getting closer to what you don't like.
Fudge is
Caramels?
a thing. It's like, yeah, I fucking hate that shit. But the brown,
we've nailed it. Anything that's just too thick.
But a brownie that has like that lava stuff in it, that chocolate. I love that. Like a fudge brownie, sure. That's not fudge. Fudge is disgusting. It's like almost
you're
marzipan.
Wrong. It's just sugar. So it's like, can't be bad.
Yeah, I don't
when
like
people
it.
are like, when Chris will be like, it is a milkshake and he's like, nah, it's a bad milkshake. I've said this before, but how could it be bad? Unless the milk has gone bad, it is sugar and milk. Like it's cream and sugar. It can't be bad. Isn't that what you're signing up for?
There's so many bad ice creams.
I don't believe it.
Too sugary or like not sugary enough.
I do not like when it's too sugary. And also sometimes Salt and Straw, which is a chain in LA, they come up with crazy flavors like turkey gravy or something.
Oh,
like,
that's just for press.
Yeah.
You know, I one time there was a yogurt store, you know, one of those 15 handles, 16 handle places. And they had a it was Guinness flavor for like, it was for K, the month of K for St. Patrick's Day to celebrate K. And so I had just quit drinking, and my whole life motto was that people don't really like the taste of alcohol. It's a lie. Like if it didn't get you drunk, no one would be like, oh, I love Guinness. And people are like, no, I love the taste of beer. If it didn't get you fucked up, it's disgusting. You're so like, it doesn't taste good. Maybe you're used to it. Same with coffee. Coffee doesn't naturally taste good. You're addicted to the way it makes you feel. And so it makes you think you like the taste. And you actually do, but it doesn't taste good. Like kids aren't like, I love hops. You know, like whatever kid is naturally like interested in eating is generally something that's like good and not based on something that you have like a mental hook around. So my point is, I went up to the guy at 16 handles. I go, how much of this are you selling? And it was alcohol. Like it wasn't alcoholic, but it tasted like Guinness. And he goes, oh, none. It's just people just sample it. No one gets it. And I go, of course, because it's not good. But how many of those people are like, Guinness is my favorite drink. Why wouldn't you like that as an ice cream then? Oh, because ice cream's not getting you fucked up. So it proved my point, and I felt so victorious.
Yeah,
Brian, what is yours?
Alcohol in any. They put it in cakes. They put like a rum cake. They put it in all sorts of things.
Get it out
or
of
those
things.
little
It tastes
chocolates.
bad.
Those little chocolates that have like a little bit of liquor in them. I don't like that either.
No, it's so people can get fucked up. People want excuses to have alcohol, but alcohol inherently in and of itself is a poison and does not taste good. That's why it is loaded with sugar. It's just the point of it. And it's okay that you like it because it makes you feel different. I like everything that makes me feel different. It is a problem in my life. So it's not a bad thing that you like it because of that, but don't convince yourself you like the taste. It's your mind playing a trick on you, which is fine. It's cool, kind of cool. Okay,
there are
so Brian,
three things that I don't eat already that people like.
Okay.
One of them is
let's just throw those on the list.
French fries. I don't eat French fries.
Okay, well, do you not eat them because you don't?
I don't eat fried foods, really.
Me neither. Fried food was my answer.
Oh, I stole your answer.
No,
Damn
it's
it.
okay. But why do you not eat fried food? Do you not like the taste?
It makes me feel. Oh, I love the taste. I mean,
exactly.
fried foods are so fucking good. I could eat them all day, but it makes me feel like shit.
Yes,
I feel greasy and grimy, and I can't move, and then my face gets greasy.
This is mental for sure.
Oh, well,
because
100%.
it doesn't have this much of an effect on
and
you,
then
but
I
it does kill you slowly.
out of my eyes, and then I yell into the sky.
You have like an allergic reaction to the idea of what it could be doing to you long term, possibly.
I'm getting better at it. I'm actually getting better at eating some fried
Me too.
food. Oh, wow.
I'm trying
incremental
because you
training?
know what? It's delicious, and in
so good.
small quantities, you can have a little fun. You know, like I used to go no to everything. Like I'm so out of control that if I have one fry, I will have to have all of them, or if I have one piece of pizza, I have to have all of it. If I have one bite of pasta, I have to have all of it, and so I still have those where I'm cut off from it because I don't trust myself around it. But fried foods, I've been testing those limits and being like, I'm just going to let myself, because if I order something and I don't know, you get it all the time. You order something and it's fried and you're like, fuck. You have to pick off the fry. You get it.
Oh my God, yes.
Just let yourself have a couple of them and pick off the rest, but enjoy it because it's so fucking good.
I mean, there's sometimes it gets snuck into sushi, like if it's
I
tempura
love it
and you
when
didn't
I'm like,
know.
whoopsie, didn't know.
But for
and then you
me,
just let
because of
yourself
my
have it.
mental craziness, if I order sushi and then it's tempura and then I eat it and I didn't know, then I get all those weird symptoms where I'm like, I feel greasy and like shit.
Right.
There was one time I was at your house. One of the worst reactions I ever had to food was back in 2017 or something. We ordered gyros from a gyro place.
Yes.
And I ordered a chicken salad. And I didn't know this about gyro meat, but basically, you know when you see like the spinning meat on a stick? That is not meat. It is barely meat. I went on the internet and I looked up what actually is that, and it is 90% fillers. Some of them have literal sawdust in them. And they all come from 3 distributors. Like every time you're like, oh, look at this gyro place, this unique, authentic Greek gyro place. If they have that spinning meat, they're probably getting it from one of 3 distributors, and it's probably filled with sawdust and preservatives, and it's probably like 5% meat. So I ate
that's
that
what
chicken.
someone told me about those places and Subway. They're like, you can, if you're a vegetarian, you can eat there because there's no meat. in the meat. It was,
and their bread is made of yoga mats.
Yeah,
Yes. There's a plastic, for sure. That's
my dad said we eat
true.
a credit card of plastic every week, each of us, in our diet.
Yes.
My dad said he prefers American Express.
I'm just picturing EJ.
That's a joke. I thought it was pretty good.
Just like crunching into a credit card.
Yeah, it's cute.
I take it like communion.
Okay, so fried food.
Well, I was at your house and I ate the chicken meat.
Oh, yeah, you ate that chicken. Okay.
Remember that chicken meat? I ate it and then I felt like shit.
Oh, no.
I felt so shitty that it was like I left your house at like 11:30 p.m. and I went running for an hour outside.
Jesus.
Because I was like, I need to get this out of my body, and I couldn't get it out. I haven't had a reaction like that in quite some time. Because
I'm so glad because you are in a good relationship.
Yeah.
That keeps your head on fucking on.
But I haven't had gyro meat since. I have not had it since.
Now, could Allie stop you out of one of those tailspins? Like, let's say you went out with your boys or something and you ate some of that meat and then you get home and you're freaking out. Would Allie go, yeah, go for a run? Or is that a part of your, she must help with some of these anxieties, right?
There's nothing she can do. In fact, she can only make it worse. I mean,
I really thought I was going somewhere with that.
She could frustrate me and say like things that make me mad. But no, the only thing I can do are my little rounds that I do in my little room in the dark.
What do you mean? Rounds?
I do my little rounds.
What's
I do little
round?
I have a.
Are you a nurse in a psych ward? What's happening?
I have to
I
sign.
eat my cookie in a round.
Yeah.
While I walk
go to a
around.
hospital and do my nurse rounds, and that's the only thing that makes me feel better. But no, I do this thing called the DNRS. DNRS is a program I do to help with my psychosomatic symptoms, and there are these things called rounds where it's the dumbest thing ever, but it works. But literally, you're in your room and you basically like do these hand movements, and then you start associating positive memories.
Like tapping?
It's more like, have you ever heard of NLP, like neuro-linguistic programming?
Yes, I've been in a cult before.
Yes. So it's like that. It's a lot like a cult, but there's actually a positive benefit to it.
This sounds cool.
Yeah. If anyone has...
tell us about this.
If anybody has psychosomatic issues, I joined the DNRS program because of a really charismatic leader who wanted to put me in a harem. But after that, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I joined the DNRS program because I had multiple chemical sensitivities. I couldn't smell different cleaners and stuff. And
he would be walking down the street and there was like this little scent of like a detergent in the air, he would have chronic pain that would almost like paralyze him in pain, right?
And brain
like
fog.
Julianne Moore.
And you couldn't go
Safe.
outside. Yeah, he couldn't go outside. He couldn't like, it was keeping him inside and scared to like go out in public because it's someone's perfume or something. Like it was crippling for you, right?
It started because I got a brand new car, and the new car smell made me go insane. And I learned later that it was associated with extreme anxiety, but I had to sell that car. I bought the car brand new, and then I had to sell it right away, which was like a huge loss of money because I couldn't drive it. Couldn't drive the car.
And we know it loses its value when you drive it off the lot.
As soon as you drive it off the lot.
That stinky car off the lot. Yeah. So it was, it's almost like when you pulled a geographical, like where you got rid of the car thinking the car was a problem, but it wasn't the problem.
And I did all this research. I went on a spiral, like there must be chemicals in the car. And I got really mad at the car manufacturers and for the whole world for like, how could you drive in cars like this? You're poisoning our bodies. So after you get over that phase where you're like mad at the world for having chemicals in it, then you start to realize that this is a me problem. Have you ever seen Better Call Saul?
Yes. I was thinking of his brother.
So his brother in Better Call Saul has electromagnetic hypersensitivity. Yeah. I mean, I was literally singing that in my head. Yeah. And he has that, and he killed himself. And a lot of people do kill themselves because they don't understand why it's happening. And it's just a torturous existence.
And the thing is, it's like, it sucks so much that the diagnosis is, it's like, it's you, because the thing is, it isn't you. Like no matter what it is going on in you, you don't have control over that. So you can still look at it as something that is like happening to you, that you are not the person creating this, because you're not. But because we associate with like, it's in your head, that seems like then you have control over it. So why are you doing it, you fucking crazy person? And you're just as a victim to your brain doing that with anxiety as you are to the world having chemicals in it, if that were true. Like, what, you know what I mean? Like we look outside ourselves to be like, it's your fault. But the fact that it's happening in our head is also not our fault. So like, but that's the struggle with that stuff, is because then you have to address that you have to accept you are like, I guess, crazy, but then you have to also accept that it's not your fault that you're crazy. And then
it's your subconscious mind, which acts on its own, but you
have no control over.
Right, because the traumatic storm of trauma that created your symptoms, you didn't have control over.
Yes.
But what you do have control over is how you react to things. And
I would
that's
argue
the
you
key.
don't, but yes. You're right. What your conscious brain can do. And
your
then retraining your subconscious brain to get the right messaging that like, hey, when we smell this thing, it's not that happening. And now we know that because we've imprinted it. They were talking about in this book, that the book I'm reading, or maybe it was a video I was watching about the book. It's like, if you wrote something on a piece of paper and you wrote it like, no one loves me, and you wrote it over and over, just scratched over the same thing over and over, that imprint would be so strong and it would take so much longer to erase it than anything else. So, but that is what you have to do. You can erase it, but you have to like, the erase has to be doing it so much more. We talked about this so much, but that's just another kind of like analogy to understand, like your subconscious brain is like so susceptible to so much bad messaging from you. It's so hard.
Like
once
child.
I know I'm out of control with my negative thinking, and I'm like, stop doing it, because your subconscious brain is a baby that is listening, and you are shaping it to be what it's going to be when it grows up.
Yes.
So how does
I have to set a
NLP
good
help?
Example. Yeah.
Well, you know the Taylor Swift song that you were singing? I have a Radiohead song that I sing that's the same message, which is, you ever hear the song, you do it to yourself, you do, and that's what really hurts. That's how I sing that all the time to myself when I'm thinking this stuff. But
that's
yeah,
not
you
good messaging. You're not doing it to yourself.
That's when I'm really down and I'm like, I hate myself.
Oh yeah. When you want to depression.
And it's like, it's my fault. I'm doing it to me.
You got to get but Brian, that is the key to getting over this. And I know you know that is like not associating that with it. But I do understand. I'm so guilty of like loving to listen to a song that like punishes me.
Yes, punishes.
Yes.
I have a whole playlist on Spotify of positive songs that, you know, like Sunny Side of the Street. And what really gets me through a lot is Ren and Stimpy's Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy. You ever hear that?
Yeah, that was fun. And the log song, that would bring me back.
Yeah. Everyone needs a log.
That was so good.
really, if you want to retrain your subconscious mind, you have to be like a psychopath happy person.
You have to be so happy.
Yes.
And you have to be really enthusiastic about the things you want. So like if what you want, there's all these videos I watched about it, but it's not, I'm excited about what I'm trying to imprint on my subconscious brain, which is I'm a great singer and I'm a songwriter and I have a story to tell that someday is going to come out. So that can come out. That is locked inside me. That's the story I'm trying to tell myself. And one of those steps to getting your subconscious brain to think that is not only to say that to yourself a lot, but like to be really excited about this thing and kind of obsessed with it. And they give steps on how to because sometimes the thing you want to imprint, you're not really that obsessed with. So they teach you ways to convince your mind that you are obsessed with it. But I'm glad because the thing I want to imprint, I'm already obsessed with and thinking about constantly. So my brain right now is thinking about stuff is thinking about singing or is processing some kind of song I was working on before. Cause I know it is, cause that's all I want to fucking do when I'm not doing anything else. So it's stuff like that. But there are tools that if the things you want to achieve are not things you're obsessed with, how to trick your mind. It's so fascinating.
Your conscious mind is the manager and you can assign your subconscious to do some work while you're even asleep.
Yes. Yeah. It's so cool. And I wish I would have learned about this before I was 39. I really do. Like if you're young out there and you have this, like don't sit on this, like just start exploring it because it is real. I was talking to someone about manifestation and they were like, I don't believe in it, but everyone I know who's super into it, it kind of works for them. And that just may be people reporting only the good that happens. No one's going to say, I did The Secret and it didn't work because it's like, it's embarrassing to admit you fail. So it could be, confirmation bias or whatever, but there's something to it. And I wish I would have gotten into it sooner and not like laughed at Jim Carrey and his $1 million check he wrote himself or whatever the fuck. And just
I do feel like Gen
crazy.
Z is ahead of the curve. My sister and I play this game where she calls it like geriatric or 11-year-old because she thinks that like Gen Z dresses like they're 80. So she'll often send me pictures of a person on the train and be like, guess how old this person is. Are they 81 or are they 11? And you can't tell. Because they have like big white sneakers and big mom jeans. And
that's so true.
And
Taylor
I was like,
Swift.
I'm going to guess 11 on this person. And then she sent me the full picture and it was definitely like someone who's probably 30 but looks 11, and they look so young, and they're reading a book about getting sober. I mean, this person doesn't have a wrinkle on their face. They just have like a cherubic face. And I'm like, well, this person's reading like a cool sobriety book. I know. I think it's so great.
Who was I just talking to that I was like, a friend of mine he went to like rehab when he was like 12 or something. And it's just so interesting. I remember Jim Norton got sober really early. Mulaney did, and then had relapse. But I mean, he got sober really early as well and was a big influence on me. That's Taylor Swift has been, her newest outfit that she's been spotted out in is one of my favorites of all time. She looks like a postal worker, like 100, like sexy, but like she's not, she has a song Vigilante shit that's like, I don't dress for women or for innocence. Lately I've been dressing for revenge. And she is dressing just for herself. Like I think for a while it was like, oh, what's going to project that I'm in my single girl era or and it's just the outfit she wore the other day. We should put it up if you can find it, Noah. It's like she was walking into Electric Lady Studios, which is where they always snap a picture of her. But I wanted to talk about Taylor Swift, her latest announcement during the Saturday night Minnesota show, which we were in the Minneapolis show on Friday night. Saturday night, she had a big announcement. Oh, wait, let's look at this picture. Yes.
So accurate.
God.
Cute little navy baseball cap, big oversized white button down, and then a cute little mini with pleats.
Mini in light blue, dark blue hat, like pinstriped white, oversized shirt. And then what kind of shoes are those?
They're almost like creepers or dogs. Oh, yeah.
And then she has her socks are like frilly and pulled up just to her ankle. And she just looks so perfect. And I love this look so much. But she just said at her concert.
You could pull that off, by the way.
I think so. Sure. Of her. And so I was at her show on Friday with Noah. But on Saturday, before we talk about Friday, she made an announcement that, her Speak Now album is coming out, the re-release. And she would like if everyone kind of left alone the people she wrote those songs about when she was 18 or 19 to not like bring this shit up again. And that she is, and the way she said it, Noah, do you have the quote of what she said?
I have it.
Because I really loved what she said as she introed the song as well.
She goes, I'm not putting this album out so that you should feel the need to defend me. We have all grown up. We're good.
And then she said, and
then she performed Dear John.
Yeah, but before she performed Dear John, which is about John Mayer, we all know it. And Dear John it's not because it's called Dear John. Dear John is like a type of letter that people don't know the double meaning of this song title, and they think that she just wrote a song called Dear John, but it's, you know, it's double. There's a
used to be a TV show, and it would start off with, I think it was called Dear John. There was like a whole song about it.
A Dear John letter is like a letter you write to someone when you're like breaking up with them, I think. I forget like the connotation of it, but yeah. So it's so good. It's the best. It's one of her best songs ever. And it's like one that Swifties like just, you know, have a lot of affection for, because it's just one with a lot of like anger and feelings and and it's up there with All Too Well. So we've been dying for her to do it for a secret song, which is one of the 2 songs she plays during the show that she is not in the set list. And she hasn't, but she made this announcement because people went so hard on Jake Gyllenhaal with the re-release of Red. I don't even know what they did the first time because I wasn't a Swiftie, but like I didn't go hard on him the second time, but I witnessed how mean everyone was and how, you know, just his Instagram is littered with Swifties. Just, I mean, it's an army, you know, that is sicked on you. And it's now she's re-releasing this album, and so there's a song Dear John on that album, and she said before she sang, she was like, and I'm only saying this because I'm about to sing a song because I like the song, not for any other reason. It was the way she said it's way more eloquent, and she's like, so I'm gonna play Dear John, and it was like, yes, and she goes, the only reason I'm playing this is because I'm proud of this song. I'm going to play Dear John, and then that's how she said it. It was like perfect because like. That would suck if I wanted to talk about something, or if like you wanted to write a song about someone and then they like everyone attacks that person. But then The Onion had a really funny post about like, oh God, because I was thinking like there was a part of me that thought she could have done this during the Jake Gyllenhaal thing. Like she had this capability the whole time to be like to sick her fans off of people, but she chose not to during Red. And I would say if I really knew like Taylor, if you're watching, I know that it just occurred to you to do it, and you would have done it then too, because you don't give a fuck about him either. But there was a part of me that was like, you know what? I don't really care about John Mayer. Like he doesn't. I'm not mad at him anymore. Can you just like not be that mean to him? But like this other guy, I'm just gonna hush on this one.
I wonder if it has anything to do with John Mayer saying that thing about like, I felt terrible when I found out that song was out about me.
Did he say that?
Yeah. He was like, it was a visceral, like I felt absolutely awful. I thought he said accomplished. That. I don't trust my memories anymore after yesterday's podcast.
Accomplished. That's all she would ever want. The thing is, by the way, Taylor Swift did want to communicate to these men in these songs. I've written jokes about men that I've wanted to hurt and let know how much they hurt me. But the thing is, she already did it. So at the time, she absolutely I think she mentioned something about him writing to her, and she's like, and sometimes they send you really long emails that are a little too late. And it was like something like she was not having it. But you know, whoever aside, I'm just saying like sometimes it's very cathartic as a girl who's been hurt to take it out in your act. And you do want to hurt them. You do not hurt them, but you just, well, you do. You want them to feel the way you felt. And it's childish. And that's why she said, I'm 33 now. I'm grown up. I don't need you to like do this anymore. You know, yes. And I already did it back when it mattered to me. Yeah. So I really liked it. But Noah, let's talk about
how about we go to break first?
Okay, let's go to break first and then we'll talk about Taylor Swift, because you've been mighty quiet, and I need you to, because you're a Swiftie now, you need to be chiming in to all Taylor talk. And we'll talk about that right when we get back. We're back. Oh my gosh. Noah, can you tell us about because I've done this now 7 times. This is my 7th Taylor Swift show. Do you want to walk us through?
Okay, so I have seen the light on Taylor Swift, thanks to Nikki, my Taylor Swift shaman. Nikki was the perfect person to go see Taylor Swift with, because she like for a person with anxiety or like social anxiety, I need to know everything that's about to happen and what to expect. And man, did Nikki know every single.
I wish I would have had it for myself. I'm the same way. And so I was giving to you what I wish people could give me before I went to my first one.
Yes. It's like watching The Wolf of Wall Street next to Scorsese during the director's cut. And he's like, all right, here's a scene where Leo.
I have memorized now. I went through the show the other day in my head, and I think I had half the show. I think it was half the show I could get through before I fucked up one of the songs in the order. Like I have the 46 songs in a row memorized in the order. And just naturally, not from trying.
It's not just the order of the show. Like Nikki knew the choreography. She knew which part of the stage Taylor would be at. We had literally front row. We were on the barricade.
Yeah,
and
we were the front row.
So like her stage, I guess, is shaped like a capital I. So we were at the head of the I, like on the side.
Yes.
And for the secret song, okay, so Nikki let me know that the secret song is coming up, and she goes, "Capo on the 4th fret, Cornelia Street."
Well, because she said it was from Lover, and from our angle, I didn't have a clear indication of her guitar. So to me, it looked like it was on the 4th fret, but I think it was on the 2nd.
It was on the 2nd,
and
yeah.
It ended up being Paper Rings, and which I was excited about. But when I found out she played Dear John the next night, I was like, why do I keep getting robbed of my favorite special songs? Every time I go, it's like, okay. And Hit's Different. That was her special song when we were up in the fucking thing. That's one of my favorite songs, and I was just like, I wish I was down there. So I'm happy that I get to go anytime. But yes, it was magical. It keeps getting better. People would think that after 7 times, I would think, even as a Swiftie, after 7 times, I would be bored. I don't sit down even one time. I have not had to go to the bathroom even once during the whole show 7 times, which I would never have guessed because I go pee all the time. And I'm not holding it. And if you want any tips going to airs, if you have any questions for me, please DM me and I will have whatever concern you're having, whatever freak out, I will help you. The only thing I can't help you with is getting tickets. I have no insight into that. I paid $13,000 for 2 front row seats at one point, and now I have a hookup and I deserve it because I've worked very hard, and please don't come at me. I would hate me too if I were a Swiftie who like couldn't afford tickets or couldn't find a way in. I would fucking hate me. I get it.
But I found a way in. Me. Because I'm not that big of a Swiftie. I'm just like entering that world.
No, if you're not a Swiftie and you get a chance to go, do not feel bad that you don't know all the lyrics and you aren't just, you know every transition, you know every little Easter egg and every little thing to shout out. Like, no, I was telling Noah, like, no one cares. No, it's the most like loving atmosphere. And yes, there are some girls that are like, I'm a bigger Swiftie than you and kind of having that attitude, but by and large, no one gives a shit, and everyone kind of, I realize for the most part, not everyone, most people don't know every single song that are there. So don't worry.
What were you anxious about, Noah?
Well, I mean, it was very intimidating. I mean, this is like a stadium full of like hardcore fans. It was just like kind of like, Nikki texted me on Thursday. The show was on Friday. So like, I didn't really have time to plan an outfit or anything. So, just like the whole like rush of it, I like time to prepare and to think about, but it was actually better that I didn't, because it was so funny when I got to Minneapolis. It's kind of like a very like gray single toned city, but all of a sudden on every corner you see these like sparkles and hot pink and like a glistening cowboy hat, and all these like Swifties are slowly starting to like emerge in the streets the closer you get to the stadium. And it was really cool. It really reminded me, I guess, of like what people who are fans of wrestling are like. It's like the WrestleMania of pop concerts.
That was awesome when you said that. I was like, oh, that's cool. And now I see the appeal of that thing that I didn't before.
Like it's something that like only you and the people in this universe understand the obsession.
Yes.
And it's very friendly. I liked how when we were going up to the stadium before security, that whole thing with security, all the girls are like, can you take my picture? Can you take our picture? And you're like, oh, this is like a common thing in Swiftie world. You take each other's pictures.
Yeah. We had some cops take our picture. They were really nice.
Nikki asked a cop who looked and sounded exactly like Bill Burr to take our picture.
Yes. It was like a Minnesotan Bill Burr.
I love those pictures. You guys looked so cute and you were so into it. And Noah, you seem to know a lot of the lyrics.
Well, Nikki
gave her a
challenged me to do the Cruel Summer thing.
Bridge.
I saw that. That's a hard one.
And it was so hard. Okay, first of all,
But
I didn't
worth
expect
it because it's such a uniting moment. To learn one thing, that's the thing you got to learn.
Yeah, and Nikki said that like all the Swifties, like they love the bridges, and especially when Taylor addresses the hometown and asks them to sing. Now, I didn't realize that was going to be the first song. So, and it was like immediate right away. And I was like, what? It's now? I could barely get the sound.
I put you on the spot.
And I thought you were going to do it with me because the video you sent me was like the two people doing it. But I couldn't.
Oh, shit. Sorry, girl.
I wasn't at the point where the concert sound was being processed fully in my head. So I couldn't really hear what she was saying.
No, yeah. It was not a perfect intro for that. You'll get a second chance. No,
when you're in the
great.
front row, how's the audio?
At first, it was pretty hard to understand because the sound was just kind of like bouncing off the different sides of the stadium. But eventually, I got used to it and I was able to hear what she was saying.
Yes,
especially
it's
when
hard
she
to
would
hear her
talk.
speak.
Yeah.
Almost,
but it's okay because Nikki knew exactly what she was going to say. So when I had a
was
question,
like, right now she's telling us that she feels powerful, that she feels amazing, and that she's kind of
different every night.
I guess what I'm trying to say is you're making me feel like I'm the man. I would be complex. Like I know all of her little
into song
what
banter.
was that?
Is it the same every night, the banter, or roughly the same?
No, it's roughly the same, but she has moments. She gives a lot of unique moments, but it's after Champagne Problems, there's always a time where every town and she didn't start this, but it's like a time where everyone just like claps their head off, and it's about probably 6 songs in, and so everyone is finally just ready to like give her just a huge thing, and it goes on. Every town like tries to beat each other and how long they can applaud, but she cut us off in Minnesota. Like it could have kept as long as she like looks around and goes and like
Is that
and takes out her ear
cries,
thing and she's like and sometimes she cries, like she lets it in. It's a really great moment. It's so fun to be a part of. But you could tell she was just like, we need to keep this show going, and I could like it's and she was just like, guys, and she just knows how to work a crowd and like I knew as a performer what she was doing was moving the show along, but I don't think most people would realize that.
That's
right.
it. And that's why it was so cool to see it with you, because you understood it on that level. If I had gone on my own or with like another friend, I wouldn't have experienced it that way.
Yeah, she's like a maestro. She knows. And then she was doing kind of fun things where she was like over here and like pointing, and it was like, and that was really fun. And she'd never done that before. But it was.
There are certain bands that cultivate a culture around the concert. Like you went to go see Dave. Dave's got a huge culture.
Yes.
That where all the fans act the same societally, and they have traditions that they all do. Like Fish is the same way. It sounds like Taylor Swift. The Dead, wrestling. And I was just wondering if there's. It's so important to garner a fan base that's like a lifelong diehard fan base that'll follow you anywhere. And I was just wondering if there was anything that could happen at a Nikki Glaser show.
Someone was like,
that.
Great
someone
question.
wore to, thank you so much for that question. Honestly, so good, because it does remind me. There was a girl that came to my show and she was dressed in all pink and she was really dressed up. And she was like, I had to wear, she was like, I'm wearing pink for Nikki Glaser. And she was like, and I go, you look amazing. And she was like, I have nowhere to wear this to. And like, it seemed like this is the night to wear it. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like, I would love if there was a thing where people like dressed up for my show and like whatever. I wish there was like, I had more of a theme going.
You
like
kind
I
of
need
lead in that though.
maybe
because,
octopus theme.
Like you always call back to the chat.
Yeah.
I think you do kind of cultivate that because you always get dressed up in these like really cool outfits on stage. You and Anya both do. And I have noticed that in your audience now, the audience members are kind of picking up on it too.
Yeah, I think that sets the dress code, is like what the performer wears. So, but I gotta say, I think I'm gonna start switching to like nice things and then like sneakers. So that's because my feet are killing me and I kind of want to move around more. But I say that, but who knows what I'll really do. But yeah,
that was
how
a
does
great
it
tip
happen,
you gave me.
though? how does Taylor Swift's fans know what to do? How do the Dave fans know what to do? Like, how does it happen? Did they say something at some point? Or is it
Taylor
just
definitely
natural?
says stuff, and the way we dress, the way she dresses, you know.
Mm.
I don't know about the Dave fans though.
But when did it start? During Eras tour or prior to?
No,
because
this
people
has been
are
going
dressing
around. No, people have been dressing up for Taylor Swift shows. When I went to Red in 2013, we like took notice of what we were wearing, and like when I got there, it was like, oh, we came underdressed. You know, like we tried to dress cute, and it was
like her though, because that's what
I think
people
you
are
dress
doing
in
now.
the era like. Like when it was the Red tour, you just like wear red or whatever. When it was 1989, you're kind of like dressing like the aesthetic that she puts out in the album and what her appearances she's made so far. I think, who knows? But I think Era's really brought it out where it's like, it's Halloween.
I think on the message boards, like Fish has huge message boards. Same with Dave Matthews. So people
The
probably
Warehouse.
talk about.
You got to buy a membership. Yeah, it was called The Warehouse. Because of his song. Yeah, it was. I always wanted a membership and I never did. Can someone from The Warehouse please give me an honorary membership? I've been dying for one since 2000. So yeah,
go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
you.
So I was going to say another thing was I could not believe like what it was like, what it felt like seeing Taylor Swift literally within arm's reach.
Yes.
She came to our side of the stage. I think it was twice where she was like really like stopping in front of us.
3 times actually. Yes.
3 times. I could see like the glow of the light on her like beautiful little peach fuzz on her skin.
I know. I saw her. She had hair on her arms, and I was like, I want hair on my arms. Like she had like blonde hair, and I always shaved mine, and I was like, I'm growing mine back. Because I could see the follicle, and I'm like, I'm having an insider look right now into something that she has that no one, unless you get this close to her, you're not seeing this in photos because it's all buffered out and over, lighted or overlit.
Does she seem taller, smaller?
She has a bruise on her. She has a bruise on this arm. Wait, this one right here that I want so bad, and it doesn't go away. It's like a permanent, like little, like purple bruise that looks awesome, and I want one so bad. I've been banging my elbow on everything. So
another
crazy.
thing I noticed about Taylor is I believe that she does the same thing that Nikki Glaser does when she looks in the audience. She blurs her eyes.
She what? Oh, really?
Blurs her eyes.
I agree. I think that Taylor has my blur effect. She knows what the blur effect. I don't know that she blurs her eyes, but what I do know is that she has the same results from what I do, which is blur my eyes, that she does, which is she's not making actual eye contact with anyone because it is very, very distracting to make eye contact during a performance, for me at least. And it is very, very difficult to make eye contact with Taylor Swift. And I've tried many times.
I was going to say.
No. Anytime she comes, let me just say, anytime she ever walks over, I am standing very still with my camera pressed against my chest, which is the same camera case or phone case that she has. We have the same. So I'm sure she's like, if anything's going to catch her eye, it's going to be like, this bitch has my phone. But someone found like a picture of her taking a picture and they saw in the image on the mirror that her phone case was this thing. So I bought it. And if you want to see it, I'm holding it up now. But so I just hold it to my chest like this, and I'm very still, and I just look up, and I'm just like, and I'm singing the words, but I'm shrinking because I don't want her to look at me because it will be distracting because she'll maybe be like, isn't that a girl? Like, I just don't want to distract her at all because she has a performance to do. I'm out of the way. I do not want her to like see me and like, oh my God, she's like, I am the opposite of that. I even was told that possibly during the Chicago week that I was going to have a chance to meet her. And I had told everyone before the show, if the chance comes up, I'm all preparing you now. I'm turning it down. And therefore you will all have it not a chance to meet her too, because you'd probably come with me otherwise. But we are not meeting her. I am not meeting her like this. I can't do it. I don't want to be in her way. She has to rest. She is doing too many shows. So, but Noa at one point, the one time though that I would accidentally make eye contact, I was like setting down my camera and I came back up and Noa goes, she just looked at me. I was like, no.
I swear to God,
I believe you.
So she was on like the shaft part of the eye. I don't know, like the
yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I like when you say shaft.
And she was doing that thing where she like looks over the audience, but she looked into our section and I swear to God, for like a split second, she made eye contact with me and I just froze. I was like, I don't know what to do. And then it was done.
Yes.
She looked at Noah and was like, is that Nikki Glaser? And it's like, oh, no, it's not.
Nikki left. That's what she saw. Wow. As soon as I turn my back, this bitch heads to the bathroom.
How do you blur your eyes? So what is that even? How do you do that?
Let me just do it right now. Okay, I'm looking at the camera and I'm blurring my eyes. I just unfocus them. So I don't know. You'd have to look at the YouTube to see if my eyes are changing at all. Okay, I'm not blurring them. I'm totally so someone watching on YouTube, I'm not blurring them, looking into my single. Let's zoom in. Okay, and now I'm gonna blur my eyes. Blurred. Anything changed? Did my pupils change? I don't know. We'll have to see.
It's like you're looking through someone, like beyond them.
Past. Yeah.
No, but I can straight up blur. Like I can be looking at a screen like in a movie, and if it's a really scary scene coming up, I can make it so blurred that I could never, it would just be blobs and shapes.
Start crossing your eyes, Brian.
I can't do it. It's a great regret of mine. I can't do it. Oh, I would never be a comedian in the 40s.
Some people can't. Can you whistle? Some people can't whistle.
I can whistle.
I can't do lip trills because I got too much stuff in my lips. No.
That's a lip trill?
Yeah. It's hard to do when you have
I can't do it at all.
It's because and I'm supposed to do them up to like a high fucking C, and it's impossible. But okay, so you can't cross your eyes. Can you guys not do anything cool?
I can do this. Hold on.
Oh, the tongue thing. You have the genetic
double one.
Yeah,
you have
the double tongue.
That's I've always wanted that one. I only have the single one.
Yeah.
And I can cross my hands not cross my hands, but I can like do prayer hands behind my back pretty high.
But you guys can do that weird dance, like flossing. I can't floss.
You can do it it just takes practice.
No, I can't.
What is you can't floss? What do you mean?
Like it's a dance.
The stance.
Oh.
Nikki can do it.
Wait, hold on. You go. Wait. Oh, I gotta be able to do it. So sorry that my hips. Hold on. You go that. Wait. Oh, this is so embarrassing. That. There you go.
Okay.
I got it.
Look how fast she got
Well,
it.
you couldn't.
I can't.
You couldn't do that.
I lost it.
You couldn't do that even with practicing. Like, is this like rubbing your belly and tapping?
Yeah, you could do it with practicing.
Easy.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
You
that's
another
so-
dance too.
This is really
I
easy for
worked
me.
14 hours to get that good at flossing. I did. I had to work at it. Like I remember. And once you get it, you can kind of.
I can't see you rubbing your belly, Brian, but I can see you hitting your head.
It's really easy for me. I don't know why.
To do that, to rub your stomach and hit your head.
Wow.
Maybe it's from piano.
I got it.
That's good. Oh, you could be from piano.
Yeah, I used to
Because
be
I
harder.
cannot get it. Oh, that's interesting.
Can you do the Charleston?
No.
The crossing your legs and arms things, and you won't be able to see
Where
it.
you're like like that. That would
Where
be
you're
cool
like-
to be able to do.
Your knees are you're making an X with your arms, then unfolding the X with your arms. Your knees are.
Oh yeah. I can do that. But I was sad that there was no group dancing at Brian's wedding. He forbid it. He wanted no song that was like down, down, boogie, down, boogie, down. None of that.
We played Cotton Eye Joe for 5 seconds and we shut it down.
People tried. I almost learned it from the guy that was doing it in front of me. I was like, oh, this is a fun dance and I can learn this. So he was on like his 4th repetition and I was about to start. I was like trying to get it down. And then you were like, move on to Taylor Swift's slow jams. But the
Can
Cotton
you
Eye
butcher
Joe,
Shake It Off, please, instead of this? I get freaked out by group dances. I don't like I'm going to get some food and then I turn around and everyone's been taken over by robots or something. I don't like that. I don't like
It's
seeing
so
everyone
fun.
doing the same thing. It freaks me out.
I bet if you got in it and learned it, you would have fun. Have you ever done the electric slide, or did you get
Yes.
electrocuted as a kid by the electric slide? What happened to you? Final thought.
I've done the electric slide before and I just don't like it, no matter how much everyone is having a good time.
Can you learn? Is it because you can't learn it, or do you get it down and you still don't like it? Because when you get in that groove, oh man, it's so fun to be dancing with other people, to feel like a connection with everyone, moving at the same time.
I don't know why it freaks me out.
Maybe it's kind of like a Nazi march. Like you don't like that, like that idea of like just people walking in or like moving together.
You know what I hate more than the
generational
electric
trauma.
slide is the cha-cha slide.
I love that. That's the down boogie, that one.
It has that weird song, the beat.
When you go to yeah, I think it's that.
Wouldn't it
To the
be
left,
cool to
to the
learn
left.
country dancing, line
Oh
dancing?
yeah, that's the other one.
It just looks so smooth.
It's
line dancing, I
fun.
wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if it was more complex. I just don't like the
Simplicity of it.
although I
No,
do
there
love
are
the
complex
YMCA.
ones.
The YMCA, that's what I'm saying. If you love the YMCA, and do you love it because you get to do the YMCA?
No, I love it because the beat is so good that you can't not
beat is
dance
so
to it.
Okay,
a
we need to
sick
find
beat.
other songs that have this beat and see if you like them. Like,
There is another one,
What is
Macho
it?
Man. Macho Man.
Oh, yeah.
God, yeah.
The beat
Okay.
is so good.
What is your favorite
agree.
song, Brian? What is your let's get it into some of your favorite songs. I just
To
want to
dance to
explore.
or any
No, just
song?
like if you are let's say you're going to walk to go play basketball and you just want to get in a mood that'll get you kind of like feeling physically good and mentally happy, like a good happy song.
Oh, a good happy song? Oh,
Or just like you're walking
you know,
outside and you're just like feeling it and you can kind of maybe have a skip in your step.
when I run, I listen to like really intense rap music. And then when I am trying to be happy, it changes all the time. But, you know, lately I've been listening to You Make Me Feel Like Dancing over and over again.
Who's that?
Leo Sayers. It's not a one-hit wonder, but close. You make me feel like dancing. I'm going to dance.
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
Oh my God. Was that 70s?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of funk, 70s funk
Oh,
and stuff, and
yeah.
some new funk.
I don't think I'd ever hear that song outside of a wedding.
I listen to a lot
so
of songs
funny.
you'd hear at a wedding. Yeah.
I like listening to. I loved that thing that they used to do on the street where they would go up to people and ask what they were listening to as they were walking.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of my favorite. I could watch that for hours. Speaking of watching for hours, last night I watched for way too long geo tracers. You must know of this, Brian, where these guys miraculously can take a random place in the world that, you know, on Google Maps, you know, like when you search your address and like the image on Google Maps that's kind of like a fisheye lens, they take that and it just places you anywhere in the world, and then they can guess exactly within like miles of where that photo was taken for everywhere in the world. And not only can they do that, they can do it in a blink of an eye where it shows on the screen. The image shows on the screen for 0.1 seconds. And these guys can get it within miles.
Is it like a cross street?
No,
Or is
it's
it
like
like a
imagine
mountain
if I
range?
put if I put in Google image your address and it just showed your street facing one way on your street. Like it's in
No
the middle of the
way.
street facing the I swear to God.
That's
If you don't
amazing.
believe me, it honestly is like but then they had one video where I was watching one of them because a lot of these guys are good at this and they are like all friends and they all like have videos together and it's actually like this whole community. I'm getting into this weird YouTube world now of these guys. And it was one Reddit clip that like got me into it. So one of the guys was blindfolded and then the other guy was placed somewhere and then describes the location to the guy just by like what color the road is, what color the dirt is, how much vegetation there is, what do the road signs look like. So what I gleaned from how they do this is road sign memorization, what color the Google truck is, because in certain countries that'll be like, oh, in Jordan they use black Google trucks, and you can kind of see a little bit of the Google truck in the photo, like a little sliver of it at the bottom. So there's like it's all like magic's never magic. There's always like a logic to it. So it's like, but these guys, they've just memorized all these data points about different places, and then it breaks it down into categories. They go, is the sun in the north? Okay, so that has to be below the equator. So I was thinking it was either Sweden or Peru. So it's got to be the Peru city that has that certain type of stop sign. Okay, we're gonna go with Peru. It's like boom, down.
It's like one of those charts, one of those, what are those called?
Yes.
I don't know what they're
You
called.
follow it and you eventually
Yeah.
get to something. Yeah, it's so
It's so
cool
impressive
though.
because I
You gotta watch
frequently
these.
say if I'm driving around Indiana and I look at a street, I'm like, this street could be on Long
be
Island.
anywhere.
This street
Yes.
could be in Ohio. This street could be in Florida, except for that one palm tree giving it away. Like every
Yes.
place in America looks exactly the same.
That's kind
agree.
of comforting to know that places are unique.
I love it too. It was sold me on travel a little bit, where I was like, oh, this is kind of cool that these guys maybe have, but I don't think they've even been to these places. All they do is just sit in their basements and record these videos.
I have another recommendation for wasting your time a little bit on YouTube. Have you guys
Yeah.
watched Dr. Pimple Popper?
Oh, disgusting. I can't wait to watch wet
that.
things. Only warts.
Wet things.
I don't want anything wet. Blood. I don't want blood or pus.
I can't stand the name. I don't want to watch it because of the name.
But if you liked that stuff, you would watch
cool.
it because it's
She's
exactly what it's
huge.
giving you. Yeah.
She's so
She is
popular.
so huge. She takes out lipomas. Do you know what
Yeah.
those are?
Fatty tissue.
Yeah.
Fatty
She has her own
Cysts.
television show, doesn't she? It's on like HGTV
Yeah, she
or
did,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, I've just been watching the
There's
highlights.
thousands of like Anya. Go into YouTube and just watch cysts being taken out. Whatever
like on
kind
Reddit.
you like the most.
There's
you like
Reddit
lipomas
Pop
the
It
most
or something.
Yeah, you
I
can
don't
just
think
go
I
type
like
in
it. I think it's a way of self-torture, just a little. Because the entire time I'm watching, I'm like, this is disgusting stuff.
Oh, see, I love watching warts. It's never disgusting to me. I'm like, yes, get it out of there. Make it fucking like dig it out. I love it. There's no like.
That's
yeah.
exactly the noise that you should be making when you're like,
Oh God, I can't wait. I'm begging. I want Chris to get a planner's wart so fucking bad because he's the only person that I can get into that will give it to me. But he won't. I know he won't trust me next to his foot with any. I'll be like trying to do some treatment on it. But really, what I want for it is to grow bigger so I can fuck with it and like really get it big and like, oh man, I wish I had one so bad. I would give anything to have. I had one on my foot so long ago, and I always look back and I just am like, man, that wart on your toe, that was so fun to pick at, and I miss it so much.
So it's satisfying to get it out. Like you can get the root out.
Yes.
Are
And
you
there's people on
salivating
Reddit
right
that
now?
will-
Like you're
yes,
like,
I literally am. There's people on Reddit on wart that will just post pictures of the wart they pulled out and then the hole. And there's there's like probably dozens of us being like, show us the goddamn video where you pulled it out. Why did you skip the best part? Film it coming out. We're just like, and then some of us will be like, show us the hole. Where's the hole it came from? Like, we are so sick. And it's just, I'm not alone though. There are other wartheads out here. We're just like, show us, and like we want them to like scrape it out, pull it. A common joke in the subreddit warts is like just rip it out because people go there like that are just like first time wart havers that are like, what do I do about my wart? They don't know that there's like a bunch of sickos being like torture it and make it bleed. Like they think we're like there's a lot of people helping people with warts, but there are people like me who have no interest in that, and we want to make them, and we're like pull it out with rusty pliers. Like we just
really?
want
That's the most satisfying.
well, that's the joke what everyone makes is a rusty pliers because it's just like the most disgusting way, but we're just like, yeah, just get it, like burn it with fire. Like we love torturing it. So I'm not alone, and it makes me feel really great. And yeah, so if you're like me, there's a place for you. All right, so we have
I
to
wanted
go.
to ask you something. I was hiking in Utah on the way to the wedding, and there was a thing that made me think of you. It's kind of offensive now, but I saw a big dry rock, and it was covered in dirt. But it looked like really dry skin, and the soil was thick and cracked, and you could just peel off the little. And I was like, I really wanted to just peel off all the dirt. And I was like, if Nikki was here, she would want to. She would.
Can you
love
not?
this.
Because it's like a national park.
They say, yeah. Well, you leave no trace, but like you could pick off one little dirt.
Oh my God, you should. If you ever get to pick off something, film it for me.
Yes, the next time.
Especially if it's like skin and it doesn't lead to anything bleeding.
It was such a huge mound, and it was just little scales of dirt,
Oh,
hardened dirt.
I love it.
And I was like, this needs to be smooth. And I was like, and Allie was like, we need to
You
leave.
want it to be smooth.
Yes.
She's like,
Yes.
go do your rounds in your room.
Oh God! All right, we have to go. I'm gonna be in Vegas this weekend with David Spade. Come out and see that show at the Venetian, and there's so many tour dates available right now on NikkiGlaser.com. This fall, I'm going so many different places. I'm so excited. Anya will be there, and so get those and listen to the podcast. Keep listening. Thank you so much for listening. We love you so much, and don't be cut and just pick it off from me and film it.